It was January 16, 1895. Two men arrived at Liliʻuokalani's door, arrested her, and led her to the room where she would be imprisoned. A group had recently seized power and now confiscated her diaries, ransacked her house, claimed her lands, and hid her away. Liliʻuokalani was Hawaii's queen, and she ruled through one of the most turbulent periods of its history. 75 years earlier, American missionaries first arrived in Hawaii. They quickly amassed power, building businesses and claiming arable land that they transformed into plantations. They worked closely with the ali'i, or sacred Hawaiian nobility, closely linked to the gods. The ali'i appointed missionaries to government roles, where they helped establish Hawaii as a sovereign kingdom with a constitutional monarchy. But once certain business opportunities emerged, namely the prospect of exporting sugar to the U.S. tariff-free, some of their descendants shifted positions. They formed a political group known as the Missionary Party and began plotting to annex Hawaii, bringing it under U.S. control. Liliʻuokalani and her siblings were born into an ali'i family. In 1874, her brother, Kalākaua, ascended the throne, but 13 years into his reign, the emerging threat crystallized. The Missionary Party called a meeting where an all-white militia surrounded and forced the king to sign new legislation. Later called the Bayonet Constitution, it stripped Native Hawaiians of their rights, diminished the monarchy's power, and ceded control to this group of white businessmen. 4 years later, King Kalākaua died. Heartbroken, Liliʻuokalani said, by the base ingratitude of the very persons whose fortunes he had made. Prepared to fight, she assumed the throne. Despite death threats and rumors of insurgency, Queen Liliʻuokalani was determined to restore power to her people, an estimated 2/3 of whom had lost their voting rights. Flooded with requests for change, she authored a new constitution. But before she introduced it, the so-called Committee of Safety, a new organization that consisted of many missionary party members, hatched another plot. Under the false pretense that this new constitution endangered American property and lives, they staged a coup on January 17, 1893. More than 160 U.S. Marines marched to the palace, where the Committee of Safety removed Queen Liliʻuokalani from office. Thousands of Hawaiian people protested, some wearing hatbands reading Aloha Aina, or Love of the Nation. The alleged provisional government declared Hawaii a republic the following year. They proclaimed that Hawaiians couldn't vote or be government employees without signing a new Oath of Allegiance. Many refused. The following year, some of Liliʻuokalani's supporters attempted a counter-revolution. The Republic responded brutally, jailing hundreds and sentencing 6 people to death. In exchange for their release, the Republic made Liliʻuokalani sign a document that claimed to relinquish her throne, and they imprisoned her in the palace. Under constant guard, she composed songs expressing her love for her people, and began making a patchwork quilt that told the story of her life. While she was only allowed news that had been reviewed by her jailers, her supporters often brought her bouquets from the garden she dedicated to them, wrapped in newspaper. After 8 months, Liliʻuokalani was placed under house arrest. As soon as it was lifted, she traveled to Washington, D.C. with Hawaiian nationalists and over 20,000 signatures. There, they successfully convinced Congress to halt the Republic's annexation treaty. But the following year, the Spanish-American War began. Seeing Hawaii as a strategic military base, President William McKinley declared it a U.S. territory on July 7, 1898, breaking international law and devastating Queen Liliʻuokalani and her people. She spent the rest of her life petitioning for the restoration of her lands, Native Hawaiian rights, and national liberation. When she died in 1917, these dreams were unrealized. A member of the group that forced Queen Liliʻuokalani out of office once declared, "If we are ever to have peace and annexation, the first thing to do is obliterate the past." They failed at this goal. Queen Liliʻuokalani left a resilient legacy. Her commitment to her land and people never wavered, and many Hawaiians continue to fight in her memory. Speaking of Hawaii's children, Queen Liliʻuokalani said, "It is for them that I would give the last drop of my blood."
40 million years ago, the ocean floor cracked open and molten lava started flowing out. It cooled as it hit the cold ocean water and turned solid, eventually making mountains in the ocean. Those mountains got taller and taller, and soon a chain of islands was born. And then, around 2,000 years ago, a group of people arrived to these islands in canoes. Those communities eventually unified into one kingdom, the Kingdom of Hawaii, a sovereign nation in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii became a language, a culture, a national identity. But that sovereignty, that culture, that identity was soon stolen, captured by a new, bigger country an ocean away.
This is the story of these islands.
For millions of years, there was no land here, only the sea.
Hawaii's half-century-old request for statehood is granted.
The Kingdom of Hawaii remained a fairly remote, disconnected country for many years, until these guys arrived. During the 17 and 1800s, many people from Europe and the United States came to visit Hawaii, mainly on expeditions of exploring the ocean. But the ones that stayed were mainly Americans, who arrived to these islands wanting to talk about Jesus. For the most part, the Kingdom of Hawaii welcomed these visitors. One British explorer even gifted the Hawaiian king a British flag, and Hawaii eventually adopted the British flag into their own flag. There was general friendship and good relations here. The American missionaries who had settled on the island eventually had kids and grandkids. And soon, these missionaries and their descendants weren't just interested in talking about Jesus. They were also interested in building businesses, mainly focused on sugar.
By far the most valuable single product Hawaii can offer in that trade is sugar.
With this increased economic interest, these Americans who had originally come to be missionaries were now much more into sugar. And they did what people of European descent have been doing for many centuries, looking at a culture and government that is different than theirs and saying, "We think we could do this better. Let us take it from here." And so during the 1800s, these Americans slowly chipped away at the Hawaiian government structure. They were still newcomers in this ancient island nation. They didn't have much power, but that changed quickly.
The Pacific always comes rolling in, mile upon mile of dazzling white beaches.
By the end of the 1800s, these Jesus sugar Americans had amassed a huge amount of Hawaii's wealth. And those original missionaries who had come to the island to convert people to their religion years earlier now had grandkids that looked like this. A full-on armed militia of white Hawaiian citizens, descendants of the missionaries, who were eager to get the government out of the way so that they could run the country themselves and help make it more favorable for their sugar businesses. Now remember, these guys were born in Hawaii. They considered themselves Hawaiians. But even still, their loyalty still lie with the country of their ancestors. They were effectively Americans still. By 1893, this local white militia and their political allies were ready for a full-on takeover of the government, which at the time was headed by this woman, Queen Liliʻuokalani. The sugar missionaries were still a minority, and a full-on overthrow of the government would have been hard by themselves. But luckily for them, they had help. The American ambassador of Hawaii at the time helped coordinate the arrival of an American military ship and troops to show up on the shores of the island of Oahu into the capital city of Honolulu. Up until this point, the conflict in Hawaii was technically internal, meaning it was between the locals and the white missionaries who were technically locals because they were born there. But the moment the US arrived to Honolulu to provide military backup for a government overthrow, it became a full-on military coup sponsored by a foreign power, a cardinal sin in international relations. But even still, the government backed the overthrow. The Queen was forced to give up her power, and they put this guy as the leader of the new Republic of Hawaii. His name was Sanford Dole. His family was huge in the sugar business.
There's a new taste in pineapple from Dole.
And now he was the leader of the country of Hawaii. The locals fought this, but peacefully. They protested. Nearly every adult on the islands signed a petition condemning the takeover. Back in Washington, D.C., a debate began as to what to do with Hawaii now that a bunch of pro-American missionaries turned sugar warriors had grabbed power. Dole himself traveled to D.C. to lobby for the U.S. to take over Hawaii for themselves. But so did a group of local Hawaiians to oppose the American encroachment. The Queen, who was overthrown, wrote a letter demanding to be reinstated as the legitimate leader of the Kingdom of Hawaii. The United States was split on what to do until 1898, when the new president surrounded himself with leaders who kind of loved war and American expansion. And this is what sealed the fate of Hawaii. All of these displays of vehement, peaceful protests by the Hawaiian people were trampled on by a superpower who had bigger guns and an insatiable desire for control. So one summer day in 1898, the U.S. showed up, and the flag of the Kingdom of Hawaii was taken down, and the U.S. flag was raised. Hawaii was now officially a possession of the United States of America. With the help of these sugar-loving missionaries, these islands had been plucked from their people and put in the hands of a growing superpower. But stealing land is one thing. The real theft is what happened next. At this point, Hawaii was just a U.S. territory, not a state. But even still, the U.S. began a deep, widespread destruction of Hawaiian way of life. The Hawaiian language was banned in schools, and government and businesses were by law required to be conducted in English. The U.S. began developing land, often on sacred sites, and the history itself was censored, to make it seem as if the Hawaiian people welcomed the US without a fight. Much of the real history became inaccessible because it was only documented in the Hawaiian language, which was beginning to die. And then in 1959, Hawaii became the 50th state of the Union and quickly became the place we know today. Meanwhile, Dole Food Company, the company who was perhaps helped the most by this land grab, has become a massive global corporation. By 1993, Hawaii was a full-on part of the United States. That year, President Bill Clinton came out with an apology.
Presidential apology. At the White House yesterday, President Clinton signed a formal letter of apology to the people of Hawaii. He was apologizing on behalf of the U.S. government for the government's involvement 100 years ago in removing the independent Hawaiian monarchy by force.
But despite this horrendous land grab and the pillaging and theft of these islands, there is a little bit of hope here. That spirit of peaceful resistance that led to petitions and protests back in 1893 persisted even after the takeover. The Hawaiian language was delicately preserved through painstaking effort. And today, there are full immersion Hawaiian language public schools. Hawaiian traditions have stayed alive. And last year, Hawaiians showed that they were not willing to give up their sacred sites. They staged a dramatic protest to protect a holy mountain that was slated to be developed on. Hawaii may have been stolen, and attempts made to erase its culture. But while the negative effects of this imperial land grab are wide-reaching, many pillars of this beautiful culture have survived.
The Hawaiian Kingdom Onipa Peace March. Marching with the kids, with the keiki, leaving Royal Mausoleum, Mauna Ala right now. You can see everybody here. Lots of luck off the road. We've done this many years, many times a road. So we're going to go in the front while we can now. We'll get all the kids coming on the backside like we do every year. See them chanting. Everyone's handsome, beautiful. And now we're going to capture the front so you guys can see what's going down in Chantan. Some get a chance to be in front. Here we go. Queen lined up. Okay, so everyone lined up in a royal court. I knew I was gonna find somebody that I know. Okay, we actually got the early part of the shot before we end up running up and down, turn around. There you go. So it looks like they'll be pacing the march. 9:30 was the go time, 9:34. So they'll be slowly beginning. We have the police escort right there. And they begin the march. There will see people lined up. I'm going to go slowly down with them until, because I'm not sure how many people do you expect, 2,000, 3,000? Because I always end up in the tail end. I've never finished this parade in the front. So we're live patiently, just like all of you, like Macy's Day Parade. They're lining everybody up on the street. Police are ready to go, ready to roll. You have our police escorts right there. They're waiting anxiously. We have guests waiting on the side. All people wanting to know when we're ready to roll. Luckily, I brought my tripod, so I don't got to carry this thing on my hands all the time. That we're gonna begin. So shout out to all of you watching on the Big Island. We got Craig Carvalho. Good morning, everyone. So I can zoom in for all of you before we begin. So everyone's lined up at Kamehameha I right there. We'll be doing this tomorrow morning as well. Different time, a little earlier, I believe. And I'm not sure how many thousands of people will come. But you can march with us, film with us, walk along with us to Iolani Palace. I believe they'll be serving some food, so everyone can join, take a picture. Go right ahead. So we're waiting for everyone to begin. And the front does a good job of keeping a slow pace. It's just that we got thousands of people, kids in the march. We're gonna have them singing, chanting all along the way. It's pretty inspirational if you've never been to one of these marches before. We've been filming this for X amount of years. Looks like we're ready to roll. Here we go. That's the Q sign. They got the good to go. Maybe they'll blow the poo to begin. And we have our queen being portrayed there in black to represent the overthrow of Queen Liliʻuokalani. If you don't know the back history, John L. Stevens with the U.S. Army committed treason, the coup d'etat to overthrow Queen Liliʻuokalani, kidnap her, and keep her ransom in Iolani Palace. Almost similar case to Nicolas Maduro, Venezuela, except they didn't bomb the country. Before the CIA was made, they had the Committee of Safety. And so you'll see everyone chanting to remember the history of the Hawaiian Kingdom, Kia Punio Pōwai Pai'aina, before January 17, 1893. The first, one of the first nations to speak fluent English, have their newspaper in English, newspaper in color, electricity before the White House. So there's a deep history, treaties all around the world, I believe over 90. You can verify this on HawaiianKingdom.org, also the Hawaiian State Archives. So it looks like we got more camera people out here, which is great for filming, great for video. You guys can share the ike, share the wisdom, share the knowledge as we wait for them to roll. Looks like they're still organizing the back end of the caterpillar. That'll be the only reason for them to take their time. Because when they start rolling, they roll pretty fast and then we end up running back forward and backward. But you'll see a lot of fans on the side. People going up, people going down, people who live around, people who live in town. Grandma's queue with the iPhone too. More people all along the grave. So we're gonna see them all. So you can stay stationary and see the thousands of people, which looks cool. You can march with them. We'll end up at Iolani Palace, so you can come with us. He brought a single tripod. I have a triple tripod. That one you have to still carry. but to hold his shot instead of leaning. See how he leans? Yeah. He might be working for UH or a newspaper. They said Inua. So they're walking in solemn silence. Some years the women will walk with no shoes on, no apparel. You can see the solemnness to represent the pain and anguish of the queen, the kingdom, the suffrage. You can see the seriousness in their face. To remember the history, remember Queen Liliʻuokalani, Hawaii story. Read her book. As you see everybody else here. Our wonderful queen, represented here in Liliʻuokalani, our royal court. And they will be leading the way all the way to Iolani Palace. They'll be the first group to arrive. And we have more of the Queen's Court members right here. The ladies right here in the back. All walking. They do have shoes on this year. I remember the years without shoes. That were good. Hello, Auntie. Good to see you. Oh, look at that handsome man. Hey, I love the hair. He's usually in the front holding the kahili. I bring something. Okay, so we got Kamehameha schools coming out. So we're going to do a couple, but we'll start following the group. Because they got a big group here. Oh, no, you're good. Oh, no. I don't know how many hundreds or thousands we got to go through. But after, this is all Kamehameha schools, I think.
Are you the official?
Oh, no, I film this every year. We're going to do another one tomorrow with another nonprofit. Yeah, but this is for the kids because it's Field Trip Fridays, so they get off of school. Smart kids, private school. Public school, they wouldn't take me to no marches. You're going to let us protest? Hell yeah.
I was waiting, so I was going to fall in line, but again, I know you said this is a big group.
Yeah, big group. Chihu! Yo! Aloha! Woo! Look at all the beautiful kids remembering our history. Chihu! Look at that. Chihu! Look at that. Look at all the kids. We should all put you kids into office. It'd run a lot easier. There we go. Look at all the kids. But if the kids can do it, so can you. Because they're willing to march, they can walk, they can eat. They're all going away to Iolani Palace as well. And look at that sea of people. I don't know where they end. It's going up pretty deep up there, folks. Yeah. And they're singing. Look at that. Yeah. All the chaperones. Wow, look at that. Mahope mako Liliʻuokalani. We will never forget. Oh my God, the group's getting big so far, so I'm not sure how big the other group is. So they're still coming out from the top. Kamehameha Schools is rolling strong here. Police over there. So we're gonna get people on this side. Look at that. Chihu. Wow. Comply with the law of occupation. Look at that. Chihu. Wow, your group is huge today. Wow, look at all of you. Chihu. This is all Kamehameha schools. Aloha Aina. Look at that. They got the shirts on. Chihu. All right. All right. You'll be famous one day. Practice the wave. Chihu. Wow. Look how big this group is. You guys are huge. Chihu. Look at that. All right, the cameraman with the cameraman. All right. Look at that. Everyone's here. Oh my God, this is like never-ending Kamehameha schools. This is the wave. Look at all these people. Yeah, you. Every year we're here. We're doing it tomorrow too. Yeah, you. Okay, we're gonna cross over. Where's your daughter? Did she go past? Not yet? You know? This is all Kamehameha schools.
Yeah, I know.
Chihu, yeah, you. You got it right side down, yeah, you. Aloha! Look at Kumu. Follow her. She'll lead the way. Chihu, yeah, you. All right. Yeah, you. We're back every year. Yeah, you. I'll see you guys at the bridge. Yeah, you. I'll see you guys down there. Good to see you guys. Did you find your daughter in this sea of kids?
I didn't. She could have went past already, but I doubt it. That's okay. Look at it.
Look at everybody. Chiku! Right? Yeah, we'll put you all on Olelo TV. They don't realize it. We're all going to put them on TV. There you guys. Happy New Year. Good to see you girls. Every year we're here. All right. Chiku. Yeah, you. There she is. We found her in the sea of kids. Okay. The adults looks like are after the kids. Well, we can start walking. Yeah. Are you gonna walk with your daughter? Okay. I'll see you at the palace. There's Calais' human trafficking sign right there. So you can see the kids are having fun. It's a mini adventure. Cemetery's right down here.
Okay. I'll see you
Right
tonight.
on Robinson and Liliʻuokalani Avenue, for those curious, as we're all marching down. So you can see all the cars on the other side. Usually stop, taking picture, video too, wondering what's going down. And then you can either walk on the sidewalk side or the street side with the cones. But if there's choke people, you can usually switch left. Right, so they probably hit the intersection in the front. So we're gonna try to get the front. Oh, how good to see you. You too. Yeah, you. So while I was taking pictures, because you're doing the live stream video, so everyone can share. Yada yada yada. Hear the kids chanting. So this is what it's like live in the march for all of you watching at home virtually around the world. If the kids can do it, so can you. So come on out. It's definitely helping better in the shade. And so we have to walk at an expedient pace in order to catch up back to the front. Maybe I'll catch up to them by 7-Eleven by the bridge. Then I lose everybody by the bridge. And then you'll see why. But There's a choke turnout from Kamehameha schools, as you can see. Hope I gave you chicken skin from wherever you are around the world to feel the vibrations. All the kids are here. It's one of the times the Hawaiians don't get arrested. The police actually escort us on this day. As we're moving forward. Yeah, you. Grandma's on the side. Police blocking the roads. People wearing the flags. I still see Kalākaua end human trafficking sign right there. Sugar baby. So everyone recording, you can see the flags going down. Yeah, you. So we're gonna get everybody eventually back on. We're gonna get the front of you, but we gotta get in front of them. So this is my chance to get you up to the front. Then I can sit on my tripod, let them go past. Supporters on the streets. We'll go all about giving this. Yeah, they are in the front. Wow. Look at all the kids here waiting to say hi. Look at that. Yay. Look at that. Show me the treaty. Woohoo. You occupy Hawaii. Alright, we're gonna go back in front of the Queen's Court. Probably catch them by the crosswalk. Kids are all waiting to say aloha to the parade. Look at that, they're all waiting to say hi, they're all in line. Wow. For the Onipa'a Peace March. Here, everyone walking so solemn. Yeah, you. Good to see you guys. All the kids and the teachers watching on the side. You're gonna see other kids coming down, chanting in Hawaiian. Should be very inspirational. They all got the Hawaiian Kingdom flags. Look at that. They look so cute. And other videographers here, because we know we're in the shade. This is a good spot. Queen right there. That's them all coming in. You can see the sea of the flag still going all the way up. Maybe towards Mount Island still. We have no idea how many people. Pika pika, yeah you. everybody on camera. Kids got the flags. Let's say hi to the kids over there. Yay! So here we are, coming down the way. We still got choke people coming all the way down from Kamehameha schools. Smart, they got a cart for water. All the kids here saying hello. Yeah, there you are. The dancer out of the group. Chee-hoo, yeah, you. All right. Chee-hoo. All right. Chee-hoo. Good job. Yeah, you. So the kids are having fun. We got still more people coming all the way. Kids are saying hello. All right, and we still got a lot of people in the back. Wow. There you are. Chee-hoo! All right. Our future leaders are right here. Give them 10 to 20 years and they can take over. All right. May the force be with you always. How are you? Good. I'll see you down there. Do you know where it ends? It looks like it keeps on going. Chee-hoo, yeah, you. So some of the kids I seen from last year. Hey, good to see you. Some of the teachers are from last year as well. This is the adult group that was here. Get everybody here, the next group of people. More Kamehameha schools. There you are. You're not filming, you? I'll see you down there. So we still have hundreds of people up there, not 1,000. I'm not seeing an end to this. I am intermediate school. Wow. Pikachu's alumni. I graduated from here. I intermediate school. Wow. And here's the group right here. Hello, Pika. You got it? Yeah, good job, Mikey. And we got the other group still coming down from Mauna Ala. There's still flags already seeing to the end. They're putting some space in between. It looks like we still got many groups coming. The front's already going to get away from us. The next place we can rendezvous is probably at the bridge. But we're going to see how deep does this go. And here's the next group coming down. Generation singing. Here's our next group. Hey, West Side in the house. Waiana's in the house. Chihu, what's up? Waina, yeah, you. Waiana's in the house. You can tell from the red. Yeah, you. Chihu. There you know, West Side, baby. Yeah, you. Man, we still got people coming all the way to the top, coming down. I have no idea when this ends, people. United Methodist Justice for Hawaiians. Looks like joined in the march too. She got it! Chee-hoo! OG got it. And so this is the Methodist Church group. The younger generations who could inherit planet Earth right here. Yeah, you! Chee-hoo! Everyone's saying hi, hello. Yeah, you. Oh, that's a huge flag! Huge flag! Not bad, not bad. Mr. Almaderos is the hugest flag. Hey, how are you? Are you dancing today? Maybe. You can dance on the street. Here we go. The handsome man singing, bringing in the court, and the other keiki. We still have choke people behind. Everyone's still, yeah, you guys, look at all the cute kids in the green shirts with the green symbol. Look at that. Mother Nature. Captain Planet, yeah, look at that. She's even reading while marching. I don't know if she reads upside down on the book. Yay! Look at everybody here. They're all in the march too. Look at that. Yay! Alright, if she can do it, you can do it too. Look at that. Hey, how are you? Look at that. We have all the fans. We got the music. Smart. They got the cart. That is genius move. Hey, how are you? Hello. Look at Pikachu. How are you? Yeah. How are you? The kids make it more fun. Look, all the kids are here. Yeah, you. Alright. Hope everyone got out of school. Aloha! Look at that. We've still got tons of people. Oh, look, almost seeing towards the end. We got the trolley towards the end. That'll be the end of the row. So definitely a few thousand people here. OG came. Maori. Dad. Shihu! Yeah, you! Carrying the pictures. Nephew! West Side, baby. Makayo! Makayo's right over there. He's carrying the flag. Smart! They got the hoist for the flag bearer right there. Two flags. Kulia! Look at that. Yeah, you! Alright. Looks like we got our last batch of warriors, spiritual warriors. I'm not American, yeah you. Look at it, there's all of them. We're all together. Onipa'a. She's rolling all the way down. Oh, you gotta give her credit. She on one leg, one wheel, brah. Hey, no one should make excuses. I'm gonna bring a tricycle next year. I'm going on a tricycle. You got your electric bike, bro. She can do it one wheel, bro. Cannot complain. Right, everybody. Mexican sandwich. Bro, time to eat. Right? We're gonna make some better lao-laos. Kamehameha I sound like a great burrito. So with some taquitos, some salsa, little spicy, some cerveza, should be bueno, strawberry margarita. Oh yeah, delicioso. We're gonna love it. We call it ono. That's why it's gotta be pono. And so you have everyone coming here. We'll be in their groups. So we'll see you guys at Iolani Palace. So this is what they would do, the dances on Mauna Kea. You remember this dance on Mauna Kea? Oh, okay. There we go. You guys remember the dance? They do it on Kea, a lot of other places to uplift the spirit. The females always did it better than the dudes, and you can feel the love, passion. And it looks like the police are in the back, Charlies are in the back, and we have the rest of the groups in the back, the rest of the group in the front. So at least we got a good couple thousand, a few thousand people for sure. Now we got to work our way back down, catch up to the front. Give you guys all a tour of what it looks like front to end to free the people. We got some music to chillax to. Kai Kena Scanlon. We're on DJ. There's a chance to catch up. You can see how many people, a few thousand at least. On the march, there'll be more. It was at the Iolani Palace. Definitely a lot of kids make a majority of this march. And we'll be doing it again tomorrow for January 17th. Good, whenever they call us, I get a chance to catch up. Looks like at the intersections, it takes a little longer time to stop. The bottom probably already hit the bridge by 7-Eleven. And that's where you see everyone from the drivers responding to all the people and the kids. So that's our next objective, is to get to the bridge and show you guys the response. Can we affect the drivers by invisibly pushing the honk button to make them honk their honk? And sing along if you like at home. Kids are right there having fun. And each group singing. How are you? I'll see you down there. Cypress Firestone. The kids in green right here in seats. So thank you all for all joining me on this journey. And today we're taking it easy. We got one backpack, one tripod. You guys can follow. I do have my Hokage cloak on, so you can follow me. And Naruto, Oda ga zette Hokage ni naru desu. Masugu jibun no kotoba makanai, sore ga ore no nindo da kara. Here we go. If she can do it, so can you. Look at that. With that jumbo flag as a symbolism. You can follow, he's not called small Almaderos, that's big Almaderos right there. He got big flag, that means he got big shoes too. Look at that, huge, bro, that's huge. Look how majestic that looks. Right along, fluttering in the wind. Yeah, Chee-hoo. You can see we're with Big Al right here, sporting the biggest flag on planet Earth here. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna catch up with the front. Big Al's gonna rep that. You'll see him coming down. We're gonna get to the bridge. So the flags flying here in harmony. I think that's the Nation of Hawaii flag with Bambi and Brandon. Kids are right there, so I think Soto Academy. They come out every year. Smart this year, they got shade. Man, they are. Kids lining up. So our next checkpoint will be the bridge right down there. And you'll see how we can affect cars and drivers out there on the road. Because everyone gets curious, what are these people doing? Why are there so many Hawaiian flags? Why are they here? Conch shells going on. I also get a chance to unload my bag. We're going past O'Reilly's, 76 on the right. Sometimes we give out water at stations. I think we're just going to walk it out forward this year. Yeah, that's the water station. We're gonna go get some water. Come on. Let's roll with Pikachu. We're gonna get some water.
Everybody come grab some water. Everybody stop by over here and grab some water. We get stations on both sides. Come grab water, everybody. Are you guys thirsty?
It is hot. They should get water.
Everybody come stop over here for some water. Everybody. Get plenty of water, everybody. You guys thirsty?
We got the music going.
Everybody come grab some water.
Chew, thank you guys.
Come grab some water, everybody. Everybody.
sound of public participation. All the street people know. We're gonna see everybody here on the bridge. And the chocolate is still coming down. We made it through the bridge. Checkpoint pass. We got another crosswalk. Overheat, got it. So here are with the kids again. Looks like your friend is almost making the next checkpoint left corner. So if the kids can carry the flag the whole trip, I can also carry the tripod. We've done it before. People are running. Kids are still lively, they got the spirit. How about you? Shade is beautiful, nice and relaxing. We're catching up to Kamehameha schools towards the tail end. There are at least 1,000 kids in there. So we're gonna see how far we can get in front. And we're gonna hit the corner at Chinatown, get the next batch of there, and then go with the next ones. Even the kids are filming with the camera. I got music going. Keep up the good work. Doggies! Kamehameha shirt on. So cute. You're going on the journey with me? So, hope you feel like exercising with Pikachu this morning. We're doing this tomorrow. about, if you don't know about the January 7, 1899 overthrow, you can Google it. It's a PDF. Siri Rock, they can tell you about the coup d'etat of the U.S. Marines. John L. Stevens, the minister, Committee of Safety, Big Five, and all the fraud and corruption since then. So the kids get it, because there's the internet now. Some adults are still brainwashed by the Illuminati society. So the kids know to break free. Found you again. So we're gonna go back to the front, in and out, as always. I'll be around. No mic is hopefully the mic's still on. Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, I know this is the 420 corner. Whenever I see you guys, right? This time we're gonna smoke outside the gates. I see you guys. No justice, no peace. So we're gonna check on the mic as soon as we get her some shade. I can't see from the sun, it's too bright. I guess we got everyone the flags. Look at all the flags in the front. Everybody here. Walking their dogs too. Whew. Mike seems to be okay. Yeah, you. C500, big camera. The Chinese family. Officer Lin, good to see you, buddy. Wait on the police officers. Look what I see here. It's just like same place from last year. Nate. Look what I saw, same spot last year. Mr. Nate from Proact Credit. Secret spot. We're not American. Usually I'm right here in this corner. Look at everybody right here. Because it's hot. See everybody coming in. Thank you. Good to see you all. See you at the palace. Everyone's coming in. Our final stroll. Yeah, you. Choo. Yeah. You're all going to be on TV. Hope y'all know. Yeah, yeah. Look at everyone with the flags coming in, coming out. Kuha hail. She can just hold up her sign. She's smart. Pika pika. Yeah, you. There you go. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. So then we have with the round trip back. Come all over. Yeah, you. Choo. Yeah, you. Everyone can. Onipa'a, Po'okela, Imua. Sis got it right there. Got everyone rocking and rolling. Kamehameha schools. Chihu! Yeah, you. Got everyone checking in. Oh! Someone dropped the bottle. Yeah, you. Alright. Alright, good to see you. Alright, yeah, you. Got everyone here. We'll say hello. Aloha. Chihu. Alright. Yeah, you. Boom. Teleporter, teleport, ninjutsu. Boom. Got the adults coming in. Schools. A guitarist. They got their signs all up. I am not American. I get a 90K trust. The kids up there having fun. In the house now, Liliʻuokalani. Home of the Kamehameha. Here they come. Movie theaters, consolidated. Yeah, you still got it, OG. You got it. You got all the kids lined up. The kids are making the majority of this march. 100%. It's a good thing. Let the future generations lead the way. All the Uncle Sandy's can take a break. Pass it on to somebody else. They can film. I'm seeing more cameras, which is a good thing. More footage from the kids as well. The cameras are more fancier than mine, that's for sure. The coup petition continues. Kids are here. There you. She's very passionate. Say hi to everybody. She got the coup petition in her hand. She got a copy right there. Look at that, folks. You can see her copy right there. Chihu, look at that. Dedicated warrior. Right there, nice. Kekula Kaipuni. They can sing very beautifully. Wa'aheo Eku Hawaii Mama Kakaua. There are some of these groups we filmed at the top. The trolley is still towards the back end, which means there's still a lot of people here. We got them all. You're all gonna be on TV! Yay! So this is our Onipa Peace March, day 1. This is the Methodist Justice for Hawaiians. They're a mixed group, but they got bamboo flags. Very creative. Singing Hawaii Ponoi. So there's a break because of the bus. So there's the break. Okay. We're gonna go with this one. We're gonna live stream. So do a shout out to Nate since he's here. Anything you want to say on the Onipop Peace March to our friends all around the world?
We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Our keiki will be free and independent. Let's go, Kapo.
And we want to do a shout out to Liliʻuokalani Scrappy Podcast. We're filming episode 51, so I'll be following right after you.
All right.
So Chihu, see you in the neighborhood.
Look forward to that.
See you at the palace. All right, follow us online. There you are. You got the following the biggest flag, right? With the owl. So you can follow Big Al right there. We'll see him down there. Brandon right here and the crew coming through. They're in their solemn protocol. Alright, so I'm going back to the kids again, to the corner. We got everyone back on. Look at that. They got roller skates, water. We got the girl who reads the book backwards. And this is the group coming here. And we're gonna start rolling to the, we're gonna start catching up to the front. This is at least a few thousand people. You see them all marching in solidarity. Kids too, as well. And luckily it's a school day, so they get out. I wish my school let me go into a protest. Green Elementary, Kamehameha I high school? Sure. Why not? Hawaiian cultural lesson. Police are helping us. The escorts across the way. Across the Iolani Palace. Does that sound beautiful to y'all? Yoo-hoo! Hanaho, hanaho. Beautiful, beautiful. Hanaho, hanaho. Right? What do you mean? But it sounded beautiful. All from the younger generations. I'm sure they practice. Where can you find sweet tea? The Mana Wahine right there with the flag in downtown. Look at the hundreds of flags. Could be thousands. Totally blocking traffic. There's always the kids over there. The kids are all watching on the side. Photographer. Spying everyone slowly but surely before the legislature opens next week, officially on the 21st. So at least the kids know what's going down. They're willing to stand up and march for their queen and the history. There are a lot of people in this corner. We're gonna cross. Pretty damn ugly. It is for them that I would give the last drop of blood. It is for them that I would spend. Nay, I'm spending everything belonging to me. Okay. Yeah, you. So in this march, we're going up and down, back and forth along the path. And we're going to see him at the end of the entrance.
Oh, would this be a secret? Keep it to it now. Let this be a secret.
The kids are right here. She got a full setup right there. Look at the kids singing right there. We're getting supporters from the crowd. Always a good thing. Looks like other staff members are taking choke pictures. Good thing. Video. Everyone can share it on their social media. Fabulous. Help spread the intel. So there's going to be tents already set up here. Different booths. There'll be a stage. Got some of the bigger cameras here. Must be the news. News-like cameras. See the different booths right here.
Your orders were to come.
King Kalākaua.
Country is the Hawaiian Kingdom.
To
protect American lives and American property.
Keep Kanaka alive. Kono Mosaic. Everyone will be going around following the front of the line.
2 Gatling guns that can shoot 600 rounds a minute. We're at Pu'uno, Pearl Harbor.
It's the people setting up the front over there.
Next day, very next morning, January 17th, they came right here.
This is where you can make shirts,
Was there any Americans
artsy stuff right here.
Was there any American property at Liliʻuokalani Tariff?
This is where they make their own designs right here. Craft, do artwork. We have different booths here. Warriors Racketeering. Right here. Respect the Aina. Jews for a free Palestine. Aina Kukoa. Way petitions. Looks like they're getting set up. Hawaii Record Center. Hawaii Peace and Justice. ACLU. Aloha! Okay. So this is where everyone else is coming out. So we're cutting the line so we can get the front of where they're arriving. And we're going to go back to exactly where we started. In the front of the line. Here we go again. Coming through. past them. They're allowed to enter the royal palace of the Hawaiian Kingdom, Liliʻuokalani Palace. Representing the royal monarchy, re-entering Liliʻuokalani Palace. We can remember Brother Hank Ferguson, Brother Kalani Assam, all of our ancestors who fought for our kingdom and our people. And he made it with her cane all the way, and slippers. So we'll be doing a protocol ceremony over there while the rest of the thousands of people come up behind. Some of them will do protocol here, some of them maybe not, because we've got a lot of people. Protocol to let them in. They can enter after doing the protocol. You'll see a lot of kids from Kamehameha schools are rolling in. They made it all the way. You made it! Yay! This is the end of the journey. After starting from the Royal Mausoleum, we made it all the way here. Yeah, you. Congratulations, you made it. Yatta! Omedetou gozaimasu. Yay. The kids carried the sign the whole way. Good job, good job, good job. There they are. Some of them are in shock. Where are we? They're in the Royal Hawaiian Palace. Yay! They made it. Yay, you guys made it. Congratulations. Our future leaders are going to take over the Hawaiian Kingdom. Yay! You gave me suddenly brainwashed. Yes, it's going to be you in 10 to 20 years. Everyone's here, relaxing, unwinding. Alright, so some of them saw me from the beginning. Now we're at the end. I see Oren on this super stool over there. They're here. We will never forget. January 17, 1893. Which is why we're all here. And we'll be doing it again tomorrow on a whole. This is what it looks like at the end of the march, because everyone coming in. Thousands of people come in and look at all the kids. You're back again, you made it! Yay! Everyone's smiling. Yeah, you guys made it. Chee-hoo. Yeah, you. If they can do it, so can you. Hey, kupa'akako. Yeah, you. She got her camera going. Yeah, you guys. They got the yellow matching wristbands. They're all coming around Kamehameha schools. Yeah, you. The kids' cameras are bigger than mine. Walking them in, Kamehameha Wong, get the music background. Remember 1893, Eonipa Kako. Ahohe hana nuike oluia. See everybody coming in, rolling in. They got their all signs, handwritten. You made it! Yatta! Yeah, you guys! Chee-hoo! We'll be here same time next year. We'll actually be doing it tomorrow. Yeah, you guys made it! Chee-hoo! Oh, look, they're blowing the conch shell. If they can blow the poo, so can you. Hokage, 4代目. As you can see, the Kamehameha School is pretty big. You could take a giant selfie of them. If we had a drone, we could drone footage this. And there's still Kamehameha schools coming. They must have brought the entire school from elementary. You guys made it! Yay! There you. These are all carrying the flags with Hawaiian pride. They got shirts. Yeah, you guys, you made it. 絶対にインドだよ. So we even get to the adults here. This is still Kamehameha Schools rolling in with a solid crew. If they do this every year, then they're gonna know. It becomes a routine for them. And did it in history. Grogu! This is the way! And his jacket. Here's our next group.
Yeah, I recognize your face. I forgot your name. Jason. I'm like, yeah, that's right, Jason. I know I met your mom. Yeah. What was your name again? Micah. I remember now. Yeah.
So are you?
Yeah, so I get around.
This is faster. Protocol acknowledge, announcing their entry to the island. They all got their cell phones out too. Welcome, you made it. playing along the way. Beautiful music. Kumu are doing protocol to Kumu. Almost sounds like a hula. Go. I in the house, Nali, baby. Chihu. I am. So more than a girl, I'll be going to Aya High School, home of the Na'ali'i. Pikachu graduated from Aya High School. Doing everybody else from the west side. See, the Aya kids are more quiet. Well, we got the next group coming in. They still got to show people all the way around the corner. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing protocol on this one too. I still will. Response. Guys are getting used to the routine. They may enter as proper protocol, announcing themselves. Just like the Hawaiian Hobbit journey as they travel across the distant lands throughout history from January 7, 1893 to January 16, 2026. As they're transformed 133 years later. You feel the sadness in the air as they reach the place where they were overthrown by the U.S. colonizers, John L. Stevens, the Marines, Committee of Safety, Sanford Dole, Committee of Safety members, and more. Kids are paying their respect here. And we have the boss lady, Miss Kalākaua, talking to security. So she's in charge of Friends of the Iolani Palace. We have the next group right behind, ready to go and follow through. So get a small little protocol. Let them all come on in. For the big groups, they'll do larger ones, the small ones. You'll see them come in. If you do know it, you can say it. If not, it's okay. Just follow another group and they'll get you in. Welcoming to Iolani Palace. Let's welcome this group in as they waited patiently outside. We're going to do it one school at a time for us. This group can sing. That is your welcome greeting. For permission to enter, this is the response in Hawaiian. accepted, then they enter. There we go. All in. We still got many groups behind. Next group. You already know the protocol. May not be loud enough for you to hear. See, each group has their own protocol, their own mele, their own chants. So they're going to take selfies in front of the Iolani Palace with each group. So everyone gets time to take pictures. They have the Onipa'a quote on the back. And we even have a small group right here from representing Kamehameha I. And they've come to say their piece as well. Solo traveler, like Dora the Explorer. So after Big Al's, we're going to move into the center stage to see what's going on there. It's like everyone has their own practice chanting, dancing, and stuff. Big armadillos in the back with the huge flag. There you go. Comes in sweet tea. So I thought you guys all together. I thought so. Oh. Jumbo flag. Chihu! Finally, you made it through. Big guy with the big flag. Some of these people work here at Iolani Palace. I recognize some of the guards. So we're gonna start going in, seeing what's on the main stage. We're gonna say hello over there. So we got the main stuff over there. Rural Hawaii, you know, honey palace right there. We still got kids in line over there. Like that's at the end. So we're gonna go closer to the stage. Lanakila on the mic.
The sacred laws passed on from our kupuna, the sacred laws that existed before us Kanaka were even on this island. The sacred laws of Aina that gave us our identity as Kanaka Hawaii. If we poina that, no sense, we stand back. Our right as Kanaka is our right to be able to steward and continue the life of our Aina. And with that, we have to stay firm. We have to oni pa'a. Au'aia. Be steadfast, hold strong to our traditions. Continue to weave the future. Continue to haku in the mo'orelo, the mo'okuauhau. We are not a stationary people either. We continue to ulu. Au'aia is not only holding to one point in time. Au'aia reminds us that we stay pa'atu, we are as we continue to hold more. Au'aia e kamai konomo mahea. With that, we seal this pule today, not to complete, but to begin. He kukulu hou ke ia. Kukulu is to build, kukulu is to construct, to reaffirm the pillars of who we are as a people. It is not going to be handed to us. There is no decree from any foreign nation that's going to give it back to us. Sovereignty is not something anybody gives to you. It is something that we build, that we strive for collectively, that we live, that we exercise. It is always within us. And with that, as a sovereign nation, sustainability is not about an individual. It is always a kako thing. We never cross the greatest oceans on earth with just a navigator. Navigator important? Aye, totally. But so is everyone else on the water. So every one of us standing true to who we are and where we are and contributing our skills to the collective, strengthening. We were an educated people. Akamailoa, to have the skills to build again, to reconstruct. We ask the question, what is a pillar? Mountain. The sacred altars, the sacred places that we lay our and we deem sacred and we care for. For every stone in the foundation of the great Heiau or the small hale, every ho'aku that lays upon the aina, every one of us. Kanaka. What does it mean to? What is kanaka? What is it to be a person? Kanaka. We are vibration. Naka. Stagnation is not kanaka. Moroa is not kanaka. Nakaloa. Where we continue to vibrate, to quiver into action. Eya no kako, kikai kukuru.
You can all join in from home. The guy in the suit is dancing. The hip dance. You know, the Hawaiians got their hula hips. We're watching the hip dance. I'm looking for some other people. No, my crew somewhere around. I don't know where I lost them. They'll find me first. Are you coming tomorrow? Yeah. Where you staying? Back home? Or staying in town? Hell no. Okay. Nani and Makai and Steven are in the front. They might be doing a circle.
to power this today. I'm going to set this decree out there. Next year, we're going to pull out these Kamehamehas early. We're going to send you the chance, we're going to send you the hula. And next year, we want 4,000 of you all dancing. 4,000 of our voices rising together. We come in as one, we enter this, we march as one, we puka this, bahikapu as one, we hula, we hula as one lahui. With that, may you have a beautiful day. Silesa, enapu, homa kapeu. Kani kapu. Kani kapu. Kani kapu.
See everybody around. So what I'm doing, facing all 4 directions when they blow the pool.
Hai Kalima! Hai Kalima! Hai Kalima!
So Mr. G, let's go say hello to Makaya.
I'm telling you, everybody for Lana Kilo Manuel. Hello, Lahui. Hey, Alco, everybody. Mike Kai.
Everybody say.
Can I get a yo? Yeah. Hallelujah, Lahui Hawaii, to be here. You could be any other place. You could be.
Mr. G, I want to say hello to you.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. G, I found you. You want to
give a big shout out to all the organizing committees that have made this has been doing this. The Queen's Court, Kalākaua, Hui Kliki Kapo. I want to give a big shout out to
Now we're going to go find the food.
Samson for feeding all the Lahui, everybody.
We're going to find Brother Samson for the food.
So I want to call up Liliʻuokalani Winchester. Who are Liliʻuokalani? If you're here, Liliʻuokalani. They're scheduled to come up here then. We're going to be joined with music.
We're on a mission to find the food. Kids are mingling around.
Everybody, I want you to introduce yourself to my MC.
Take your reading set.
This is my cocktail MC right now.
Coconuts right there. Fresh coconuts.
This is my niece.
Take your reading set.
From Kahuku. Here, Makaiti. While we're segueing through the speakers and the entertainment, we're gonna be sharing inspirational quotes from our kupuna, from our heroes, from our movies. So
coconuts from Daniel Anthony.
Anita's gonna share.
And we got the food line right here. So we're gonna wait in the food line just like everybody else. Oh, the line is long. My goodness. Looks like Kalua pig. Wow, the line is long. Oh my God. You guys go. Holy cow, look at this line, people. This line is huge. I might just go to the Jack in the Box. Look how long this line is for food, folks. You gotta feed all the kids first, so. Smart, some people bought bentos. How are you? More shoes this year? Good. Remember the year you didn't walk with any?
I wanted to today after bringing heels.
Yeah. This line is super huge.
I know.
For food. I'm like,
Yeah,
I think I'm just gonna go to Jack in the Box. Are you guys marching tomorrow too?
Are you gonna go to tomorrow's one?
Yeah. So
I'll check
how
on
many
your
years?
line.
How many years we've done this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Watch the live. Enjoy. Relax.
I will.
Have a nice glass of champagne on the house. That's Chihu. You guys enjoy. Chihu, enjoy. So this is the end of this long line for food. I don't think people are going to wait this long for this line. But this is where the line ends. So you get free food. Looks like a luau, kalua pig, and some sweet potato. But that's a little too long for me. So we're going to go back to the stage. And we go over handsome man. The pride of the nation of Hawaii is here. Mr. Brandon Maka'ava. Here live. Look at his setup compared to mine. He's got a huge flag.
Yours is iconic.
Follow him online, Instagram. Follow them with the Aloha Aina Days. Chihu. Anything you want to say?
Never forget my puina, and we never lost our sovereignty. It's within. You know, nobody can ever give you sovereignty. It's something, it's an action. You got to get up and you got to do something about it. And this is one way to get activated, but this is a good reminder that it's still around and it's within the next generation. So,
Chihu!
Keep pushing, gang.
All right, see you in Waimanalo, folks. I'll be in the Waianae West Side. Reading the news, Lanakila. I got a reverse camera. I can't see with the glare here. Hold on, folks. All right. So now you can see the news here. Lanakila, Mahea, Lonnie Richardson. Everyone making their rounds. Nani. Going to get the pictures and the selfies. So that's Mahea in the news. And so Lanakila might make the news. You're going to see our Hawaiian Kingdom stuff rise. We're also going to be doing this tomorrow, January 17th, the official day. This one we did for the kids in advance because it's a Friday. And if we're going to get a break on here, all the kapuna already relaxing, setting up over here. I don't know if there's still people coming in. But this is the preview of the area.
Paging in Kalākaua, Winchester.
I can sign people who sign language. And you can get coconut. More food? Yeah, you.
We're going to call up Kalākaua. He's going to be our first speaker today.
He's working right now.
Wow.
After though.
Uncle.
Well, there's going to be one tomorrow. I'll be doing that one.
As well as Uncle
Yeah.
Directly, we'll be setting up.
Normally, I'll be by the break.
Our first speaker today will be
I always see you guys.
Please play you out for
there's so many
everybody.
kids. Are they going to march again tomorrow? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Another event tomorrow.
Aloha aina kako. Aloha aina kako. Eo e kula ui. It was so nice marching with all of you this morning. All the kupuna, all the makua, all the opio.
So you can see everyone taking selfies. Pictures here at Iolani Palace. Home of our Royal Hawaiian Kingdom. Before 1893. Still our capital. See the different groups here. Looks like we made it through. And we're gonna check on Oren, our other video cameraman. See how he's doing.
And the U.S. military. Right in this building, Iolani Palace, our queen was in prison. There were all guards standing in front of us.
Security knows me very well.
Not letting any of her allies in. But we're not here.
Mr. Oren Tsutsumi, how are you? Looking at you brought super gear today. That does not look, this is light compared to what you got. This is the man I trust to set up your film in case I don't come to an event. And look at this super gear. Alright. You guys want to see my simple setup? It's just this.
Immediately after the overthrow, tens of thousands of Hawaiians signed the coup petitions led by organizers like Emma Navahi. That's 95%
The wind doesn't make it easy for me to display my Hokage coat.
Brave patriots like Joseph Navahi, Robert Wilcox, Prince Trujillo.
So that's where we're at. So we can read the comments. Meanwhile, but we're not doing well for another 140 years. The Kanaka Garden at Wailoa. So hopefully we can have some answers about unification besides just dancing, doing the hula. We got state legislation opening up next month. Kids are fired up, chanting and dancing. Are you coming tomorrow?
I don't know yet. There are things that emerged today that we off.
Yeah, when I saw Doug, then he said you had an emergency.
Oh, yeah.
So, because I expect to see you here.
Yeah, I know. I had an emergency.
The tree. So like, if Owen's going to film day one, then I can film day two.
Well,
then it's not thing.
Chauncey helped me cut the branches on a tree that was falling at my house. This is a neighbor's yard. So in the morning when I left, I saw it about to fall. So we were doing that. I wish he said what happened. Everybody's thinking, oh no. People don't know.
So you're filming till 4?
Yeah. After I set up over there.
I'm leaving. I'm not staying all day because you're here.
Yeah.
I didn't leave because I got to film all day tomorrow. Because my batteries, the camera,
I know.
the sun, the overheat. Because last time my camera overheated, I was like, shit. I can't just leave it like before on the tripod. I actually have to be active.
Thanks, Sean. We're still fighting. But yeah, sound was loud over there. But anyway,
yeah, of course.
What am I doing here? What difference can I really make?
I'm gonna film Lynette's thing. I'm gonna film Lynette's thing. You know Lynette over there? Yeah, over there. But I don't know. I gotta figure this out because all these things happen
at the same time, right?
No. I mean, today and all these things. I have to be there maybe to get the branches. They gotta take the trees. Yeah, they have to take the branches and then mulch it. Maybe. So I'm gonna be at Lynette's helping her. Yeah, I don't want to keep my phone here too long. But
oh, I'm sure it's super exciting. Super ripping. This is so exciting. If you're there, I can watch your feed. Everyone got the look. Iolani comes here for all of you. You can enjoy our Royal Hawaiian Kingdom flag. And we're going to be here again. So if you didn't hear from Oren tomorrow, he's going to be at the other area in the back. Hey! Say hello to our fans out there. And so the kids love it. It's good inspiration. We won't see too many tomorrow. There'll be adults tomorrow. So we'll probably be there earlier. Still early, same time at Iolani Palace. We'll be doing the march again. You guys can watch it all virtually. Connect with the people. See all the friends. And we're going to peace out from this footage. And we'll see you guys in the next round. You can follow, join us at ohanaunityparty.com. Follow us online. May the force be with you always. Peace, and Pikachu loves you. Chihu! Aloha!
If you're gonna look at kind of all of the arcs and narratives that span Hawaiian history, they come back to the overthrow. I think that story begins with an understanding of realizing how important being in control is.
I remember one of my students in my graduate class asked me, the Hawaiian Kingdom was already controlled by the haole, so why do we have to learn about the Hawaiian Kingdom? And I said, so you actually believe that the Hawaiian Kingdom was controlled by the haole? I said, well, let me pose this question to you. Then why did they have to overthrow the government in 1893? They were in control after 1893, not before. There's two different trajectories here. What we tend to do, without even knowing it, we're merging the two diverging trajectories, and it only creates more confusion. This is where many don't understand what happened in 1893. When they say there was an overthrow of the Hawaiian government, it was actually an illegal takeover of an existing government.
The issue really with the power control happened in 1863. That was the big inflection point. Those first missionaries from Boston were Calvinist missionaries. They were Congregationalists, and they were instructed not to be involved in government and not money and profit and so forth.
Their children become capitalists.
You have stuff like the Manifest Destiny going on in the US, you have Darwin coming out with his theories and so forth. And so these sons and grandsons of the mission have been educated that there's a white rule that's natural in society. And so in the 1870s, they're pushing for white rule in Hawaii. In 1863, the ABCFM in Boston declared Hawaii a Christian nation. They said, you've done a great job, come home. Well, the sons and the grandsons of the missionaries had gotten into positions of power. They had gotten land in the Māhele, and they had started businesses, and they didn't want to come home. They kind of liked their position in society here. So they had to make up a new kind of mission for Hawaiians. The Treaty of Reciprocity that's talked about quite a bit. Well, Hawaii traded Pearl Harbor for the tax off of sugar. But that's not true as far as the first treaty. Treaty of Reciprocity, all it did was exchange tariffs. Take tariffs off these tax properties and takes tariffs off those properties, taxes. When Kalākaua went to the U.S. to push for that treaty in '73, he absolutely refused to give up Pearl Harbor. There were mass meetings around Honolulu and around Hawaii saying, no, we don't give up territory. This is our Aina. And the U.S. says, we're not going to renew this treaty. And that treaty, which has taken the tax off of Hawaiian sugar going to America, has made the sugar growers incredibly wealthy. I mean, we're talking about millionaires in the 1870s and 80s.
Sugar doesn't buy their land until after the overthrow. The reason they're not buying their land until after the overthrow is because they're leasing. They leased 900,000+ acres between 1865 and 1895. In 1865, a law was passed making the Crown lands inalienable. The Crown lands are the private property of the king. You could not sell the Crown lands. So that's when they created a commissioner on leases. So sugar became the entity that leased those 900,000 acres.
And so they don't want to lose that huge profit. And so they can't afford for this treaty to go away. And that's when those leaders of the mission, those sons and grandsons of the missionaries, that's when they decide, we've got to really take charge here. King David Kalākaua, when he comes to power in 1874, it really comes to a head because he's pushing ideas at first that are kind of pro-agriculture and somewhat pro-American. But eventually he starts to see also that the foreign community is getting too much power in Hawaii, and he pushes back. One of the problems was there was no standing army in Hawaii. There was the King's Guard, there was the police force and so forth, but there was no standing army. And Kalākaua was trying to change that. Throughout the 1880s, he had put forth a legislative agenda that asked for a military school in Honolulu, actually a naval school, that wanted to turn Lahaina Luna, the mission school in Lahaina, into a military school. He had sent several students abroad to one of the best military schools in the world, in Turin, Italy, where Garibaldi had taken charge, to learn military tactics and so forth. So Kalākaua is kind of seeing what's going on, and he's starting to defend against that. He starts this idea of Ho'ululahui, grow the nation, and Hawaii for Hawaiians and so forth. And that's one of the motivations for Bayonet. And in 1886, the leading businessmen in town, they start a secret organization called the Hawaiian League. We have their constitution at the state archives, but the Hawaiian League was a secret political organization to push for white control of Hawaii. There's two factions of the Hawaiian League. There's the Dole faction. Sanford Dole was a constitutional lawyer. He generally wanted to do things somewhat along the lines of legality, at least at this point. Thurston was more the hot-headed lawyer, really bigoted, racist guy to take power. And so the way they got their power was a private militia called the Honolulu Rifles. It was called out to put down sailor riots, to quiet disturbances and so forth, which is about 400 armed men. But they've come under the control of the Hawaiian League. So now they've got a military arm. They're bringing in guns and weapons from San Francisco at E.O. Hall and Sons, which was one of the missionary sons who ran a department store. Dole said, let's write a new constitution and push him to sign it. And Thurston said, no, let's kill him. He literally said, let's assassinate the king, take over, declare a republic, and then get annexed to the U.S. Thurston's side lost. I mean, they ended up, going with the Constitution route. And in July of 1887, they perform a coup, and they literally go to the palace with the militia, and they force Kalākaua to sign a new constitution that mostly takes his power away and moves it to the legislature, where they're going to dominate. With one fell swoop, they raise the income clause, so you have to make a certain amount of money to vote. You have to have a certain amount of property. They disenfranchise many Hawaiians in that way. Then takes away the Asian vote. And that was the first coup. That was where things really changed politically. But there was a significant portion of those men who just wanted to kill Kalākaua, and Kalākaua knew it. So when they come to him and say, this is the new constitution, sign it or else, he feared for his life. He's still fighting back in ways he can, but it's what they start to go by, because they've now taken that military power. One of the things that is interesting about it is that doesn't mean much. Number one, any lawyer in the world would tell you, you can't enact a constitution under force. So that Bayonet Constitution is illegal. If not, the President of the United States could write a new constitution. So coming out of 1887, Hawaiians rise to the occasion.
Actually, after the 1887 Bayonet Constitution that goes on, newspapers are started up just to represent and inform the opposition parties.
We've heard this myth of how Hawaiians were docile and kind of went with it and so forth. Months after that 1887 Bayonet Constitution, the first native political party in Hawaii is formed. It's called Huikalai Aina. And it's native Hawaiians who say, we've got to get rid of that constitution. We've got to bring back power to a Hawaiian monarch and power to the people. One person, one vote. And so Huikalai Aina pushes this idea of a new constitutional convention, of a new constitution to get rid of bayonet and so forth. They're not quite successful because the legislature is mostly controlled by the haole at this point. And so we have this kind of stalemate. When Kalākaua dies in 1891, his sister comes to the throne, 1892, and the missionary party in general feels like this is great. She's a woman, she can be controlled, and we've got this constitution over her head. What they don't know is that Hawaiians are going to refuse to accept that constitution. When the Queen takes her tour around the islands, which was traditional, to greet her people and ask what they want, she's delivered physically a petition for a new constitution. Over 6,000 signatures from people around the islands demanding a new constitution from her. One of the reasons given for the overthrow by the missionary party was that the Queen had taken on this idea to take power back herself and write her own constitution and so forth. It's not true. The people, her constituents, demanded a new constitution. And she actually writes in her book how she wasn't sure it could happen. But there was a gentleman in Lahaina, William Punohu Aveoveo Liliʻuokalani White, and Joseph Navahi from Hilo, and they went and met with her and convinced her, we have to do this. We have to write a new constitution, have it enacted, and then we'll bring power back to Hawaiians. Interestingly, she wanted to do it legally. She wanted to do it how it says in the 1887 Constitution to do it, and that is get her cabinet to agree. She does, in 1892, convinces her cabinet to agree to the new Constitution. The day comes where she's going to have that Constitution signed, and two of the cabinet members have been pulled aside by Loren Thurston, Sanford Dole, and this missionary party. And they tell them, we're going to perform this coup and take power, and you don't want to be on the wrong side. So what they do is they ask the Dole faction to prove to them that they've got the backing of the U.S. military. And Minister Stevens comes, General Soper, who's the Marshal of the Hawaiian Kingdom, comes, and they say, yes, the U.S. troops will back us up when we do this. And so, the U.S. troops are landed in Honolulu. The missionary party reads a proclamation saying, we are now the new government, which has no legal effect. I mean, I could say I'm the new government, right? But they have the backing of the U.S. Marines. They take control in 1893, January 17th.
After the Hawaiian Kingdom government was overthrown on January 17, 1893 by an act of war, which transformed the situation between Hawaii and the United States into a state of war, the occupation began.
When we lose political power over our government, it means that we lose political power over our education and over all of our systems, our health systems and all these sorts of ways.
Queen's Hospital was supposed to be for Native Hawaiians at no charge. It was universal health care since 1859 when it was formed. And that was the act and process of how it happened until 1893.
The Haole population is not 10% of the population, but they gain power.
All that was changed in this governmental structure was the Queen and her cabinet, and Marshal Charles Wilson, who was head of the police force. They were replaced by Sanford Dole and the other insurgents. They replaced the Queen as the executive head. Everyone stayed in place and were forced to sign oaths of allegiance to the new regime, with the U.S. Marines protecting the insurgents.
When the U.S. takes Hawaii, Japan protests and England protests. But the bottom line is, these countries aren't going to go to war with the United States over a bunch of folks in the middle of the Pacific. In March of 1893, Hawaiians got together and formed a new political association, which was the largest political association of Hawaiians ever. It was Ka'ahuhui Hawaii Aloha Aina. It was started by Joseph Navahi and his wife Emma, Mrs. Campbell, and others. And they come to mass over 20,000 members. And they're loyal to the Queen. They're saying, what do you want us to do? And the Queen, intelligently, is saying, don't do anything rash right now. The U.S. is going to fix this problem. And she had every reason to think they would. She had met Cleveland. She was friends with Cleveland. She knew she was right. And by filing that form of protest, she didn't transfer sovereignty. She held it in abeyance until this case is heard. So she figured the U.S. is going to make this right. And she was this close away from being right. After the overthrow in January of 1893, there's an investigation done by Senator Blount from the U.S. to find out what had happened, and that lasts most of 1893. The President of the United States reads the Blount report, declares what has happened an act of war perpetrated by the U.S., and says restoration is the right thing to do if we have any care for our national character. And so the Queen's going to go back. So Cleveland sends his new minister to Hawaii, Minister Willits, in November, December of 93, to talk with the Queen first and get her to agree to pardon the gentleman, and then goes to the provisional government and tells them, okay, you need to step down. Again, Dole is ready to give up. He says, as long as we're pardoned, as long as we're not going to jail, I guess we lost. Thurston says, no, I think they're bluffing. I don't think the U.S. is going to use force to fire on a bunch of white men to bring back a brown queen. And he's unfortunately right. And when they call his bluff, he backs away, other things come on his plate, and he pushes the matter aside. So while we credit Cleveland, rightfully so, for his push for restoration, he kind of lets down the Queen.
And that occupation, the only way they could maintain it was to begin a process of what is called denationalization.
Which meant they took control of the educational system. And so you can understand that the real purpose, of course, was to control the education of our people.
The denationalization now is not as innocent as just as an immersion school. Denationalization goes further. It obliterates the national consciousness of a country, the memory of a country, the memory of Hawaii as a country.
But this whole time, Hui Hawaii Aloha Aina has been waiting and listening patiently to the Queen and not acting. Now, this doesn't mean they hadn't been preparing. Some of the officers of Hui Aloha Aina were in charge of bringing in guns and weapons to restore the Queen. So when the U.S. refuses to do the right thing and do what it declares it's going to do, we move into 1894. The provisional government realizes it can't be a provisional government forever. Right? They've got to actually run the country now, and they had never planned on this. They're a small minority. They thought they were going to be annexed like that. And so they've got to declare a government now, but they can't afford to declare a democracy because they're vastly outnumbered. They call it a republic, which is one of the most democratic forms of government, but they can't afford to have a republic at all, and they write this. All of these things they kept really good records of, and they talk about the fact that the Constitution they're going to create for this so-called Republic of Hawaii is modeled after the 1892 Constitution for the state of Mississippi. It disenfranchised all African Americans, and that's what they were trying to do here. So now, 1895, Hawaiians are tired of waiting, and so you have this plan to militarily restore the Queen.
The supporters of the Queen were from every race in the kingdom. That's an important piece.
We call it the Wilcox Rebellion, but it was actually several men that were leading it, Sam Nolan, Robert Wilcox, and others. And they have landed a boat full of guns near Diamond Head, near Leahi, and buried them in the sand. And they are planning this military takeover to bring back the Queen. There's a gunfight. One of the Republic soldiers is killed, and then Wilcox and his men are chased for almost a week and a half, and eventually arrested. During that Kawakuloko, the Hawaiians called it, the civil war to bring back the Queen, during that Kawakuloko, there were about 189 men arrested on the battlefield. But the Republic then moves forward for the next few weeks and goes out and arrests around the islands, basically most of the top Hawaiian leaders around the islands. They want to break the back of this movement. So they're arresting them for misprision of treason, which means you knew about treason and you didn't tell us about it.
There was great freedom in the press, and after the overthrow and during the Republic period especially, editors are arrested regularly. But it's for the political views, not for the language they're using. They would allow her to receive flowers, and they'd be wrapped in the newspaper, because the newspapers were reporting who was arrested, what efforts were being made, so that was the only way she could stay informed, because otherwise she was totally excluded from all the people.
But they arrested over 400 men and brought them to Oahu and put them in prison. Joseph Navahi, one of the greatest leaders of the movement, the president of Hui Aloha Aina, was in prison and contracted tuberculosis and ended up dying from tuberculosis. So this is a disease-filled prison where they're bringing Hawaiian men and boys. There's a boy named Kalākaua who was brought to Oahu prison for fighting for his queen. He was 13 years old. So that kind of broke the back of the movement as far as that moment. Hawaiians continue to fight into 1896, 1897. We have that supposed annexation in 1898.
Historians like to kind of make it as if it was inevitable. That wasn't something that just happened to occur. This was purposely done.
If I'm the United States of America, I want you to believe Hawaiian Kingdom law is not yours. I want you to believe that international law is not yours, because then I never have to answer those questions.
And sovereignty is a very serious thing. The right to rule is held sacrosanct. So the only way that sovereignty can move is by a treaty of conquest or a treaty of cession. So a treaty is the way that nations speak to each other. They can't speak any other way. You can't pass a bill or a law or a resolution in the US Congress affecting the speed limit in Montreal. You don't have any power, right? The only way nations speak to each other is by treaty. That's why it was so brilliant. If she would have fought back at that point, say they would have killed all the guys and the US Marines, there'd have been 4 ships here within 2 weeks, and they would have taken Hawaii. And they would have a legal right, not a moral right. They would have a legal right to take Hawaii because of that war. And Hawaii would have to sign a treaty of conquest. So she didn't. Treaty of cession is where you voluntarily cede land. The Louisiana Purchase. France voluntarily ceded land that it really didn't own. But France voluntarily ceded land to the US. That was a treaty of cession, right? Treaty of conquest, treaty of cession. Takes a 2/3 vote because it's an important thing. They couldn't get the 2/3 vote. So they say, okay, we'll pass a resolution because a joint resolution of Congress only takes a 50% vote. So they pass a resolution claiming to annex Hawaii, and they come and they take Hawaii. And the way we know for a fact that they knew, when Sanford Dole, who was a constitutional lawyer, when he has a statue built for President McKinley, who's the president who supposedly annexed Hawaii, at McKinley High School, it's the largest statue of any person other than Kamehameha in Hawaii. And he's holding in his hand a document, and it's inscribed, Treaty of Annexation. That thing doesn't exist. There's no such document. And in the military writings you see, in 1899, 1900, 1901, 1902, you see resolution, and then you start to see treaty. And by the 1950s and 60s and 70s, everyone had forgotten. And then Dr. Tsai and others came along and said, wait a minute, there's something going on here. And we found out there was literally no annexation.
If the Hawaiian Kingdom government wasn't overthrown, then I don't think we would see a lot of the reality that we see today in terms of land law. A good example of this is the Crown lands. After the overthrow, they create a law that says what was once your private property, we're confiscating it and making it government because you're the king, and it's all the same anyway. It's the difference between George Bush's ranch in Texas and the White House. White House, government property. George Bush's ranch in Texas belongs to him, the private individual. So they literally confiscate without any payment. They confiscate the Crown lands, incorporate them with the government lands, and now this is the importance of language. They renamed them to the public lands. You talk about lease to fee conversion. The lands that they formerly leased, which by law could not buy, now because they overthrew the government, they now made laws which then circumvented that old law, and now they could sell the land to themselves. That doesn't happen without the overthrow. And that's where we have to see how important being in charge is. How did the government violate the most sacred of American laws, private property, and confiscate without compensation? 1 million acres. Liliʻu writes this in her book, Hawaii's Story, Hawaii's Queen. How could smart investors invest in Hawaii when 25% of the land they don't own? And she's talking about the Crown lands. She's talking about how the Crown lands were confiscated. It's just a small story of kind of the importance of language, right? Because it was literally just renaming. They can't even claim adverse possession, right? Today, rail's going through, hey, I'm sorry, your house is there. We need to eminent domain. We give you cash. We get your land, but this is for the greater public good. They can't even claim eminent domain today on the Crown lands because they didn't pay, right? They just literally renamed. One of the biggest things we don't realize, this is ours, right? And the story we've been fed is, this is not yours. Your history is not yours. The missionaries gave you law. The missionaries gave you private property. Private property is not yours. Laws not yours, right? If it's somebody else doing something to you, it's not ours. I'm not going to look there for salvation. This is where all of these things were preserved in law. That's the magic right there.
The Queen, right, she often isn't talked about enough as far as how proficient she was in the law. And really the only reason there's this legally bulletproof argument that can be made today that basically says the United States doesn't have jurisdiction in Hawaii, it's because of this widespread proficiency of law throughout the national population. Many of us are starting to see how proficient they were in the law. Hawaiian Kingdom law, US constitutional law, and international law.
We make America as this one unifying thing. There were lots of folks in America who said this is unjust. There was an anti-annexation league in the US. I wrote an article about the collegiate debates around America that were happening over annexation. Everyone that I found said no to annexation. It's just not right, it's not just. So they know that their voices matter. So they start to come together with the idea of creating a petition. Ahui Hawaii Aloha Aina that started in March of 1893. There was a men's branch, and then there was a women's branch. And the women's branch actually grew to be larger. There was almost 11,500 members of the women's branch. And they led this movement to bring their voices to the US because the papers were being controlled by the white oligarchy. The ministers that were going to Washington were speaking for them and so forth. And so Hawaiians quickly understood that their voices weren't being heard by America. And they trusted in America. And so they start a petition to say that we don't want annexation as a people. And this starts at a meeting in Hilo, the Salvation Army in Hilo. Mrs. Abigail Kuahilani Campbell and Mrs. Emma Aiman Navahi start this petition, and it spreads out from Hilo, and in the course of several months on this petition, and there's a second petition by the Hui Kalākaua group. Those two petitions together have 38,000 signatures out of a population of about 45,000 Native Hawaiians. Now there were duplicates on some of them, but we know that a vast majority of Native Hawaiians signed these petitions, and they were so powerful. Hawaiians brought their signatures, brought their demands to the US Congress and said, we are people, we're not a herd of cattle. We don't want to be bartered away. We have our own nation, we are independent, how can you take us? And that made sense to a lot of US senators. The Treaty of Annexation lost in the Congress, and it lost because of Hawaiians. It wasn't because of some great choice by a legislator from Tennessee. Hawaiians defeated the Treaty of Annexation through that anti-annexation petition. But the treaty fails. They close the doors of Congress. They go into a special closed-door seating, and the military men tell them, we have to take Hawaii. The Spanish-American War is going on, and now it's the American-Filipino War. But America's fighting a war in the Philippines that they have to have the Pacific for. And Hawaii sits directly in the middle of, from California to the Philippines. They had sent General Schofield here in the 1850s to map out Pearl Harbor on a secret mission. And he had said, it's the deepest water port in the Pacific. We could easily control the Pacific by taking Pearl Harbor. So it's a military necessity. So they can't legally do it. Most folks don't want to do it, but the military tells them they should. And the leaders in the US choose to do that. And so they pass a resolution which doesn't have the power to annex, and they go and they take Hawaii. And it was about taking control of the Pacific. How are they making an argument to the US and to other countries that 6,000 whites should rule a country of 115,000 brown people? It makes no sense. It's not just. So they've got to make this argument that Hawaiians aren't really people.
Prior to the United States showing up, that's not a history that we were always encouraged to revisit, right? And when we did, there were very ugly pictures that were painted of our kupuna.
So they've got to erase 100 years of accomplishment from Hawaiians and put in a new identity for Hawaiians. So they start that racial stereotyping and they start that call back to the savagery.
That is a process of miseducation. That is a process of deculturation. All of it was done purposely to our people. And the purpose, again, was to erase from us any sense of Hawaiianness so that politically we would not be able to resist.
So you really have this overwhelming, in the schools, in the bookshops, in town, this overwhelming narrative that you're not human. And again, not that folks believed it at the time, but a generation later, and so forth, that starts to happen.
That's the danger and that's the power of that false narrative, of that story we've been fed, of that story we've bought into.
The gentleman who's kind of thought of as the historian for the government back then was named William DeWitt Alexander. He was a missionary son. He was also president of the Board of Education. He wrote a book in 1899 that is called A Brief History of the Hawaiian People. It was contracted by the Bureau of Education for Hawaii. He says 2/3 of native Hawaiian mothers buried their children alive in their front yards because they were too lazy to raise children. That book became the school textbook for all schools, public and private, in the territory of Hawaii for 40 years. So if you were a kid who went to school in Hawaii from 1899 to 1939, that's what you learned about your kupuna, was that they buried kids alive in their front yards.
That does do a lot to hamper what Hawaiians are able to see, not just out in the world, but also in themselves.
I was doing a talk on this in Hilo, and I was showing the slides, and I was talking about arresting a nation, right? You're trying to break the back of this movement. And there was a woman in the crowd who I knew, and she was bawling, and I went and talked to her afterwards. She said, I saw my great-grandfather up there. She said, and I realized that was the first generation of my family in prison.
Within kind of this political context of Hawaii, the United States is basically trying to do all that it can to Americanize these islands.
There's a supposed annexation, which isn't documented anywhere, but the Organic Act is what lays out how the territory will operate.
The guy who was in charge, he wrote a report about the overthrow that said it was a wonderful thing and it's a good thing for America and so forth. His name was Senator John Tyler Morgan. He was appointed by the President of the United States as one of the 5 commissioners that are going to write the laws for the territory of Hawaii, this new piece of American property. And they're called the Organic Acts. It creates the territory of Hawaii. And they say, this is how it's going to be laid out. This is the judiciary, this is who gets to vote, and so forth and so forth. John Tyler Morgan was well known as being the second Grand Master of the Ku Klux Klan in Mississippi. He was one of the most racist members of the Congress at that time. He became the man that created the structure of the territory of Hawaii.
And a formal policy was put out by the Board of Education of the Territory of Hawaii in 1906 called Program for Patriotic Exercises in the public schools. And in these schools, they're going to make the public schools English immersion.
It was beyond just English became the medium of presentation. It was also a shaming and also a punishment. You talk Hawaiian, you're physically punished.
The actual language says that English shall be the medium of education in all schools, both public and private. Actions speak louder than words. Makahana ka ike. What really happened?
A teacher would come to your house and say, hey, your daughter was speaking Hawaiian again. We can't have that in school.
Go seek out the kupuna, those that had their mouths slapped, those that were beaten every time they spoke their language. And look them in the eye and tell them that their language was never banned.
But we didn't at that time understand why they were beaten. We just thought it was racist. It was just us against them.
And they took delight in a row of Hawaiian, Chinese, Japanese, and Filipino students all pledging allegiance to the flag in English.
See, under the laws of occupation, which existed in 1893, the United States was responsible for administering the laws of the occupied state, and they're not supposed to manipulate the institutions of an occupied state. When you manipulate an institution like an educational institution, that's denationalization. This policy of denationalization, which by definition is to obliterate the national consciousness of the occupied state, that's a war crime. This is what happened in 1906 with this program for patriotic exercises.
And this is the beginning of the English standard schools. This is the Roosevelt, this is the McKinley, right? English becoming the standard was if you did not speak a certain level of English, you did not have access to education. We're not talking about you get an F in English class. We're talking about you don't get to go to school. Entire generations denied access to schooling if you didn't speak standard English.
That is when that miseducation begins, where 2 or 3 generations go through that kind of indoctrination and fed a particular worldview in the American education system that is imposed in Hawaii after that.
Throughout their whole education, they were being taught a history that was not based on what had really necessarily happened. It was based on observations, mission accounts, or visitor accounts. It had erased the Hawaiian language side of the resources and never looked at the actual Hawaiian material that had been produced. So it sat in the archives.
You have this rise and fall of the number of Hawaiian language newspapers. And is it a coincidence that you have a peak in the 1890s where you have the Bayonet Constitution in 1887 and you have the Overthrow in 1893? Or people are talking, they're talking back, they're writing, they're telling their stories in the 1890s. Then you go from 1890, 30 Hawaiian language newspapers in 1890, and then it drops and it drops and it drops to nothing, literally 1950. By the time Hawaii becomes a state, 0 Hawaiian language newspapers. Is that a coincidence?
But what happens is you start with a generation that A, they're not familiar with that historical stuff, and they're looking forward and being pushed forward into an English world, an American English world. I mean, that's what the break starts happening, because now the kids don't read newspapers. By the time they're grown-ups, they might not even be aware of them.
The basics for all of this was really to teach us that what happened in 1893 was good for you, boy. So you don't even recognize what happened in 1893. You think of it as just being some kind of incident of the past.
You can steal a nation's property. You can steal the land. But you will never defeat a people unless you convince them that you've done something good for them. It's that colonization of the mind, right? It's that changing their identity. And it takes a long time, but they were masters of it. And they did it, and they did it, and they did it, and they did it.
It wasn't just to remove Hawaiianness from ourselves, but in a more insidious way was to replace it with the ideologies of those so-called colonizers and oppressors. So now we become complicit in our own oppression. We accept that this is the natural order of things.
There's so many examples throughout the world that have gone through this. But for us, because we're so limited in what we think we know, we only look at tribal people, indigenous people, native people. They never had our situation like the way we had it. Actually, our situation resembles more like Luxembourg being invaded by Germany in 1940. Then Germany unilaterally annexing Luxembourg and said it's their territory. And then they take over the public schools and they start teaching the children how to be German. Well, where they only lasted 5 years, from 1940 to 1945, here's the United States from 1893 to 2018. They were nearly successful with what Germany hoped they could do in 5 years. This is manufactured. But somehow, in order to make it valid, they moved it through education as if it was one continuum. So when you see the Hawaiian flag, that's the Hawaiian Kingdom flag, but yet the state of Hawaii flies it. They make it like they're the successor. They even have the same motto, Ua Mauke'ea o Ka'ine Kapono. That's from the Kingdom era. But we were led to believe that this was all American created. No, it's not.
In 1893, did our people know that? Yep. In 1898, did our people know that? Yep. By 1960, virtually nobody. In the 1980s, when I went to school, none of us knew that. The 1990s, I finally saw it with the work of people like Dr. Keanu Sai, you see. So what happens to our reality? Your reality will change depending on what you know.
After World War II, the countries of the Pacific were kind of handed off to mother countries, and the UN, in Article 73 of the UN, said, we're going to talk about decolonization. And they passed Article 73, which said, these territories will hold a vote, and they'll ask 3 things of their people, and their people will decide what they want to do. Number 1, do you want to remain a territory of that mother country? Number 2, do you want to become a full-fledged state of that country, a part of that country? Or number 3, do you want to go independent yourself?
By 1950, the population exploded to 400,000.
So the UN demands this. In 1959, it comes to a head, and we have a Hawaiian statehood vote. And people claim 90-something% of Hawaiians voted for statehood. No. 90-something% of those people who voted for statehood because it was the only choice they had between statehood and territory. Independence was left off the ballot. The statehood vote in 1959 in Hawaii, by UN order, was supposed to include independence, statehood, territory. And all it said was, do you want to become a state of the United States, yes or no? If they vote no, they remain a territory where they're paying tens of millions of dollars in taxes with no representation in the US Congress. They can be put under martial law at any time like they were during the World War. So of course they voted for statehood because it was the only choice they had between territory and statehood. So you see these repeated violations of American law, of international law, that continue to keep hold of this stolen nation.
See, that's what starts to happen when you start to look at Hawaii's history through the correct lens. And the lens that we are supposed to be looking at our situation between Hawaii and the United States is international law and international relations. In this intervening stage, we now have the laws of occupation that applied, and international law mandates the occupier to administer the laws of the occupied state. Once that's done, then the Hawaiian government will be restored. But the Hawaiian Kingdom as a country never left. It's big now. The international community are now seeing Hawaii for what it is, because just as we didn't know Hawaii was occupied, the international community didn't know either. They're all starting to know. The United Nations UN official, his communication that he sent to the state of Hawaii judges, basically stating what the law of occupation is. It didn't say anything new than what we've already learned since 2000. The importance, though, is it came from a United Nations official. That's different. The Permanent Court of Arbitration in the Netherlands heard the case Larson versus the Hawaiian Kingdom. They acknowledged the Hawaiian Kingdom in 1999, continued to exist as a sovereign and independent state under occupation. That's out there. After 2000, you got academic research now that is reinforcing that and adding more depth to that knowledge. And now you got universities that are teaching this. See, the awareness is spreading. That's the first step in resolving a problem. You have to know the problem. Up to this point, we didn't know this. And we're using information that we thought was relevant when in fact it's not. It's all part of the denationalization. And we have 125 years of violating international law by the United States. We are now waking up to that reality. The language is just one aspect of it. So we're the product of that. And I think that's the first thing we need to recognize before we can think we're part of the solution. We're actually part of the problem.
What's your background? Where do you hail from?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain, actually. See, I'm from, well, pretty far away. Another galaxy, as a matter of fact.
So what are you? Man or Superman?
I have so many questions. Where do I come from? Why did you send me here?
What are you trying to tell me, Dad? That I'm from another planet?
It's another way of saying that it's not from this world, Clark. And neither are you.
We wanted you to learn what it meant to be human first. So that one day, when the time was right, you could be the bridge between two peoples.
What if a child dreamed of becoming something other than what society had intended for him or her? What if a child aspired to something greater?
Strength doesn't matter how strong you are or what abilities you might have.
You're more human than I am. He lived in this world. Fell in love, got a job, despite all that power.
You just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark, because whoever that man is, good character or bad, he's going to change the world.
You can save her, Cal. You can save all of them.
They can be a great people, Kal-El, they wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. For this reason, above all, I have sent them you, my only son.
So will I see you around?
Always around.
And when you show yourself to the world, it will be a different age than ours, Clark. A silver age of heroism. That will start when they look up into the sky at you with hope for tomorrow.
Look! Up in the sky!
You will help everyone to embrace it.
Clark, you're gonna have to let Jor-El guide you from here on out.
Oh, no. Father?
Dad? Dad? Put this on. This crest. I made a promise. You can't stay here, son. If you keep fighting, you've got to keep your mother safe. You gotta keep the whole world safe. No matter what.
Oh, Dad. Clark, not without you. Dad, I need you. I cannot do this without you.
Yes, you can.
It's like I'm on a cliff standing on the edge, and where I'm looking is beyond where you've ever been before. It's beyond where Jarrell has ever been before.
Dad?
I knew you'd see me again. When you were ready.
You will travel far, my little Kalākaua. But we will never leave you.
All those powers. And I couldn't even save him.
Did the nightmares ever stop?
All this time, I've been living my life the way my father saw it. Righting wrongs for a ghost.
See, I failed.
You can't change his fate, Kelly.
He was just protecting me.
And that was his choice.
If you're trying to save me somehow, why show me this?
Because this was a defining moment for you. Perhaps the defining moment. The day you started to blame yourself.
I miss you, son.
I miss you too, Dad. Your father didn't have to care for you the way he did. Yet still he made that choice every day he was with you. He chose to be your protector. Just as you've chosen to be the Earth's protector. Nobody forced that on you. Yet you embraced it. Nobody made that choice for you.
Hey, why'd you add black to it?
Because, Lois, even in the darkest times, hope cuts through.
We're all confronted with trials, son. But the true measure of a man is how he chooses to react in the face of those trials.
Hope is the light that lifts us out of darkness.
The world needs Superman. And the team needs Clark.
Be their hero, Clark. Be their monument, be their angel. Be anything they need you to be. Or be none of it.
A hero is made in the moment. Not from questioning the past or fearing what's to come.
Clark Kent, as much as your mother and I tried to protect you from your origins, tried to prepare you to face any challenge, I'm sorry, son, but our guidance just isn't enough anymore. You're gonna have to let Jarrell guide you from here on out.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
General, would you care to step outside?
They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall.
These were my trials.
Your final trial is upon you, my son. You are ready. Seize your destiny. This is your destiny, son.
I think that's your destiny, Clark.
You are going to touch the lives of so many people.
To help people.
Not just as a man, but as a son.
Superman.
But in time, they will join you in the sun camp.
You may not see me as a hero, but the rest of the world does. And I decide my fate.
You're a symbol of peace. You're a symbol of justice.
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S. In time.
On my world, it means hope.
You will help them accomplish wonders.
And that was the day the boy turned into Superman. Wow.